Why, hello there, a nice chair here. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, if you're not, welcome back. I very much appreciate you tuning in, and I very much hope you're having a good day today. Well, today I'm bringing you a review. I've been bringing you so many unboxings, I automatically just went right there. I'm bringing you a review of something that I thought I was done with. But they keep bringing me back, mostly because I forgot about it. This is the review of a Gerber Slimsada. I was pretty sure I was done with Gerber, and I totally forgot I hadn't even done the review for this stupid thing yet. On a side note, if you watched the recent unboxing, the Arcane Design Cthulhu Edition creature with its kind of pearlescent diamond orange peel coated thing, yeah. I took this apart because there was, if you watched that, there was a little bit of a weirdness going on in the pivot. I'm still not 100% sure what it was. It had to be some gunk on there or something like that. I've never had a knife that was so unwilling to come apart. The way this knife is done, first of all, is it's got two screws with the actual barrel inside that's not connected to anything. So even though it is D-shaped, it is only D-shaped when this side is actually pressing on it, like that's got the D shape in it. And this screw can actually be removed without removing the pivot. So getting both screws off and then getting the pivot out was ridiculously hard. It was locked in place so friggin' hard that it took like an hour for me to just sort of work its way out. Even though I put this screw back on and was like tugging and doing different pushing, yeah, it just was not cooperating. There was so much gunk on the barrel of the pivot that it just locked itself in place. But now that I got it out, open and cleaned out, yeah, turns out it's got really freaking good action. Yeah, really, really freaking good action. So that one resolved itself. You'll see more of that in the upcoming review, though of course that'll be a couple weeks away. I've got a few knives to do in between there. This being one of them. Gerber Slimsada. Oh dear God, why do I keep doing this to myself? With that last Gerber, even though it was super cheap, like a $20 one, I decided to stay away from them, but I forgot. This was still in the back pocket. And I will say that this is arguably the best knife I've ever had from Gerber. I would say almost undoubtedly. Where is it? The shark or whatever lockback thing from Gerber is it's awful. Shark belly or whatever. Yeah, this thing, awful. Terrible finish on the blade. Terrible edge. I mean, it's 420HC, so it could be okay. But mine, and I have heard that some of these are good, but mine, I had to take the clip off. First of all, it's tip down only. But I had to take the clip off because with the clip in there, there was absolutely no possible way for mine to get rid of play. I don't know why, but the clip actually sits under there on the pivot, and the play would not go away. Without the clip, if you can get it for super cheap, fine, I suppose. It's still not good, but it is a super budget knife. It should be. Same with this one. This one is, I think these are, like, maybe they're discontinued or something. They're just constantly on what you see on sites saying sale. I don't know how true that is, but they're like $25. So it's not inexpensive knife. It's an ultra budget knife at this point. I don't know if it was always that way, but it is now. If it wasn't always that way, well, they were losing their minds, and nobody should have bought them if they were more than like $40 or $50. Never. But I've spent enough time. Let's just jump into specs, shall we? Actually, I have to move something real fast. I'm not prepared for this at all. Let's just jump into specs, get that out of the way, and then we can actually start talking about the nightmare that is Gerber. I'll be honest, this one's not the worst thing in existence, but it's got one very, very big flaw. That would disappointed me, honestly. I'm gonna call that 3.4 inches of blade. It's not quite 3 and 3. It's more than 3 and 3/8, but it's less than 3.5. So sure, almost 8 inches exactly overall, with like 4 and just under 5/8. I'm gonna call that. So 4.6 inches of handle. That makes sense. Yes, math is mathing. Good. Congratulations, me. Woo! That's a win right there. My book. I should just end things here. Give Gerber their one and only win. Why? Okay. Comparisons to our resident small Civivi Elementum and full-size Civivi Conspirator. It's almost as big as the Conspirator. Honestly, it may just be that little bit of blade length. The Conspirator is like 3.5 on the dot. This is just under. Not too big. Pardon me. I had to sneeze. You didn't hear it, but it happened. Magic, right? Grip length comparison to 2 AA batteries. You have, well, almost 2 AA batteries to hold on to, plus a big choil. Yeah, no, you're probably not going to have a hard time holding on to this knife. It does give you a lot of room. It does make the choil at such a steep angle that it does feel like you're going to accidentally go forward into it, especially if you were to sharpen this a few times. However, despite feeling uncomfortable, yeah, I'm not uncomfortable. I feel like I might go forward or rotate forward. I don't actually think I will. If I keep my thumb here and sort of keep myself positioned, it's sort of a trigger kind of pull here. Don't think I'll go forward, but it does look like it's going to push me forward. However, it is comfortable. Yeah, so I'll give them that much. Hardware to the Slimsada. This is a T8 right here. T8 pivot, T6 everything else. Because screw you, people. I will admit, I've had much worse T6s. Much worse T6. These are actually vastly better than you would normally expect at this price point. No real complaints about the T6, despite the fact, other than the fact that they're T6. Weight, the scale is over here. It's bizarre, isn't it? They do so many things wrong, and yet they actually manage to do decent T6. What the heck? I don't know if you can see that. 3.41 ounces, which is basically an ounce an inch. An ounce an inch of blade. If you've got about 3.4 inches of blade, you got 3.4 ounces. Also, not really complaining about that. Why are you on? Okay, sure. Thickness, handle. 410 thousandths, pretty slim. Even with its maximum, it's just over half an inch, which normally they come with the clip involved. A lot of knives come like 0.6 of an inch, so 600 thousandths. Yeah. Blade stock, on the dot, 0.1. Also thin. Edge, you got a huge edge bevel here, and is it consistent from side to side? Actually, kind of. Mostly. Like, yeah, that's not the worst thing ever. Behind the edge, because it has a huge edge bevel, I assume it's going to go up a little bit further than it necessarily otherwise perhaps should. God darn it. Stop fighting me, Slimsada. Why are you 24 thousandths behind the edge? That makes no sense. And yet you are. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, obviously, because you have such a large edge bevel, it does actually slope down a lot better, so it cuts decently well, and it doesn't, like, get that much thicker fast, but for some reason, right behind the edge, it is actually quite thick. Up here, too? I wouldn't have thought it would be that thick. I mean, I've used it. It's not, like, a great cutter, but it will cut. Yeah, 24 thousandths-ish of an inch. Okay. Certainly not ideal. Certainly not embracing that slim, considering how thin the blade stock is. But, I mean, you got 0.1 of an inch down to 0.025. I mean, okay, it could be thinner, but it's a full flat grind. It'll probably cut through things. It might not be the the nicest thing in the world, especially considering the edge is horrible, but let's just take what we can get and move on. Speaking of moving on, we are done with the specs, I believe, so let us actually move on to talk about this frickin' knife. First of all, D2 blade steel. Okay, fine. It's got a nice, well, not nice, a decent stone wash on here. It's not terrible. Nice and smooth. Blade is, of course, this modified sheep's foot. Yeah, that's a modified sheep's foot. They actually did an okay plunge grind. And, of course, the sharpening choil is huge, so that's not a big deal. And the stop pin is actually, they use one of my favorite things, and that's the nubbin sitting at the bottom of the tang that actually catches on your stop pin instead of having the stop pin hit, right up behind the edge. There is a standoff here, but that is not that does not touch the blade, so that's not really a problem. I don't know why the standoffs are red on this otherwise olive green knife, but they are. Looks like maybe an aluminum backspacer. Or it could be just steel, because no, these look a little bit different in texture and finish than this does. I don't know if it'll come across on camera. This has got a little bit like of an orange peel texture that you often see on that sort of like cheap aluminum. But stop pin's good, plunge grind's good, no big deal. Actuation method is the hole. It works. It's not bad. For the reverse flick, it's perfectly fine. Or for the thumb flick, it kind of feels like it's at a slightly weird angle. But it works. No big deal. So, good on you. That is technically functional. As you can see, it is a steel frame lock. And while I absolutely hate knives that are one half one thing, other half another, which is why you don't see many hinderers on my channel. I hate seeing cheap G10 or even my Carta and then flipping over and seeing titanium. It's like, what the heck? No. The only hinderer on my channel is the auto, because it's full titanium and textured. It's awesome. I love that. Look. But, yeah, if I do end up getting a hinderer, I'm going to be trying to make sure it ends up being a full titanium hinderer at some point. But that, of course, costs a bunch more with an extra titanium scale. So, it's not high on my list at the moment. But, this one, despite it being not my style at all, does use an inlay of the same micarta from the show side over here as the lock bar over travel stop, which is not only nice, but it actually ties it in a little. You can see the design and the elements and the materials sort of carry over. If you're gonna do it and keep dramatically different lock and show sides, bring some of the elements over. If there's some milling, bring some milling. Even if you don't do it on the lock bar, bring some texture or material, just something, a little touch of something to bring it over from side to side is so much nicer than just, oh, here's one thing, here's a completely different. I don't know why it bothers me, but it bothers me. Does it bother you? Let me know. Yeah, so, steel frame lock, over travel stop. The micarta is terrible. It's cheap, terrible micarta, but, it feels okay. It's got a little bit of depth in sculpturing, I guess you could say. Of course, the lock bar does not have any of that refining shape, but sure. Pocket clip is big, ugly, very comfortable. Yeah. It's big, it's kind of unpleasant, but my word, does it work fine. It works perfectly fine. It's not got the most retention in the world, but it's low profile. Could use a little bit more lip, but it doesn't have a flat at the end. It is definitely just medium depth in your pocket. Comes up to about here, I'd say. If we get a cloth and just sort of run her under here. a little bunchy, but also this cloth is pretty thin and flimsy, so it goes in pretty decently. That's about what's going to be sticking out of your pocket. Not that big of a deal, and it gives you something to pull on, so no big deal there. It's just a simple bent clip, but yeah, it's because it's so wide, it disperses pressure, and you feel it, sure, but it's pretty darn comfortable. I'm behind it in my standard grip, so it sort of contours to the hand, and up here, you're down low enough that, in my opinion, it's not that big of a deal. So, good on you for the clip, Gerber. Good on you for the clip. The action is on bearings. It's fine. It's not particularly centered. Who expected that? I mean, I could probably bend it into place and center the dang thing. Actually, I think I might have just done that. Oh, dear Lord. Just about. There's no play. And it's reasonably smooth. So, yeah, that's a thing. Can't complain there, I guess. Like, it's doing some things pretty fine. And then we get to the final problem. The big problem. The real problem, and that is the lock bar cutout. Maybe you see what the problem is. With how thin that gets, and how it tapers down to a thin edge. That is not comfortable. That is almost sharp, and not comfortable at all. Not at all. So they did the nice thing of leaving us a bit of room for the lock bar, which thank God they did, because otherwise it would basically be not disengageable. If they cut this back any further and still left with this shelf, it wouldn't be it would be super painful to disengage. It's not pleasant as it is, but it would be worse. Yeah, the lock bar. Don't come at it from the front. Just don't. Because you run the risk of, well, doing that. It's pretty unpleasant. You can come at it from, like, down low and kind of out. No, it's kind of one where you want to just do this and just sort of slide it over. Because otherwise it is not particularly fun. I mean, even then, it's pretty harsh, pretty intensely, foolishly designed. See how thin that line is right there? Yeah, all the pressure goes right into that. And they're not leaving you a ton of room or anything. I guess you could use your fingernail, but you're going to definitely start wrecking your fingernail on the dang thing. It's not a fidget knife, and it's not a knife that I would say is particularly comfortable to interface with, which is, like, really disappointing, considering almost everything else here is acceptable, particularly by Gerber standards. Like, for a $25 knife, I'm not going to be crying over this thing. Yes, I'm trying to bend it literally into centering. It's not working. But that's the grind. That's not a big deal. I can see it. I'm not surprised by it. But for an otherwise okay knife, why is it so thick behind the edge? And why on this lock bar was this ever thought to be a viable design? It works. And like I said, you sort of just want to come in from the side and slide it that way. You do not want to interface with this thing any more than you have to. Everything else in this knife is actually okay. Oh, and there's a little bit of lock bar stick, but oh well. Right? No, $25. Deal with it. Yeah. They almost got there in this one. So, by all accounts, it's better than most Gerbers. It's better than any other Gerber pretty much I've featured on the channel. It has two serious flaws, though. And, I have to admit, this one, because of those two issues, I mean, as soon as I opened it, I knew there was going to be an issue, but it disappointed me more than most Gerbers because it almost got there. So, I think that's it. The Gerber Slimsada. $25 knife that you don't have any other choice. okay. You could probably do better. You could definitely do better, even at that price point. Probably, almost certainly, definitely. In fact, this recently unboxed knife right there from Ganzo. This one has a bit of a lock stick on the button, due to a little bit of deformation around the button. When I took it apart, I noticed that. However, D2, solid button lock, G10, looks better, feels better, works better. You could definitely do this better, right? Basically the same price for that knife. However, it technically sort of works out as a knife. They also didn't give us great blade to handle ratio, and I mean, look how far up that tip is. Imagine how much more blade they could have stuck in there instead of riding the tip up super far. They could have made this almost like a straight freaking sheep's foot. In fact, they probably could have. Strange decisions as usual from Gerber. But this one's really just brought down by, like, basically two main problems, which is kind of better than average. So, I guess if you have to go Gerber, maybe consider this, or something. Try not to go Gerber. I'm done. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found something of interest here, and hopefully you do not buy this knife. I'm going to link it down below because I'm why not? Just for morbid curiosity, right? That was that's what got me to buy it. But I'll hopefully see you again later. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.